My name is Mickey Guerra, and I own Mick's Auto Detail in Payton City, West Virginia. And over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to be going around interviewing other small business owners, public officials, and everyday people that help run our society every single day. This series of interviews isn't just to market other people's businesses. It's not for the views, the clicks, and it's definitely not a popularity contest. My goal is to help today's youth find their purpose, find their future careers, and most importantly, find their faith in God. Like everybody, I'm not perfect. I didn't figure out everything on day one. I didn't find success in my first week. My story started with confusion, learning, loss, and rebuilding. I remember right before I graduated high school, I felt at my absolute lowest. I was lost. I felt absolutely hopeless. I had no idea where my life was going to take me. I had no clue what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I had a thought. I knew I was going to go to West Liberty University. I knew I was going to attend college, but I was really confused about what major I was going to take. I was enrolled for marketing, and I mean, sitting at a desk your whole life, 9 to 5, it just didn't really sit right with me. I didn't really know if marketing was a route for me. And so whenever graduation came up, I just remember feeling so nervous and so much pressure on my back about just like, am I really going to make it? Am I really cut out for this? What if, I'm doing all this and I turn out to be a total failure? And so that was really scary for me. About a month before I graduated high school, I was just doom scrolling TikTok at like 11 o'clock at night, getting ready for bed for school the next day. And I remember coming across a guy that was making $3,000 a week detailing cars. And to me, that blew my mind. Because I was making maybe $350 a week, as a key holder or a nighttime manager at a local grocery store I was working at. And so, if he's bringing in $3,000 a week just cleaning cars, what am I? I always knew I wasn't going to work for $10 an hour my whole life. But just bringing that kind of money in was really just crazy to me. And I was always kind of focused. I was always interested in business, mostly throughout high school. I was in a lot of business classes, and so that going on that night, I probably went to bed around 2 a.m. I made my own logo, and I started kind of messing around with a flyer. But I remember being super excited, and I was like, "This is what I'm going to do." And so the very next day after school, I went to Walmart. I spent about $100 on detailing equipment. Okay, so what I bought was like one of those buckets, one of those chemical guy buckets, and it comes with like tire shine, window cleaner, blah, 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 blah. And I bought a little shop vac, and that was going to make me money. And it did, for the most part. But I remember over the next week, I designed my own flyer. I put it up in the store, and me and my friends went around door to door throughout our community, and we kind of just pitched ourselves. We're like, hey, we're starting our own detailing business. We're doing affordable rates. I think I was charging $60 a vehicle at the time. So we were pretty cheap, and like a lot of people trusted us, and a lot of people came to us. And I remember my very first customer was my school counselor. Oh my goodness. So if you're in any profession, if you worked any job, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, I don't care if you're a doctor, your very first job, your very first time flipping burgers, your very first, I don't know, you're not as good as what you are years down the line, right? Like looking back on your first job, it's pretty bad. So, I still have pictures of my very first job. It was awful. Flat out. It was pretty bad. So it's just kind of fun to look back on how far I've come. And so that summer, I marketed a lot on Facebook, kind of on Instagram, and not really on TikTok, but I marketed heavy. And I remember just feeling all this support, especially in my community and some communities outside of my own. And after that summer, I made a decent amount of money, and I quit my job at that grocery store. I forgot to mention that. And I went to college. I attended West Liberty University for a semester. And with that money I saved during that summer, I was able to pay some of my student tuition that my student financial aid did not cover. And that's the right word, financial aid. And so whenever I went up to West Lib, I had a very good time. It was very fun. I was not a party animal. I did not go to any parties. I'm 19 years sober, actually. Don't drink alcohol. Don't smoke weed. I don't do any drugs. Kind of lame. But I had a very good time at West Liberty. I met a lot of cool people, a lot of people I still talk to this day. A lot of cool guys. And it was fun. I mean, I was coming home basically every weekend to detail. I just wasn't a fan of it. The classes wise, I guess I should say. Mostly my theater class. Our theater professor was pretty cool, but just the class in general was not cool. I did not fail any of my classes either. I will mention that I hated my classes, but I just did not like theater. I liked my economics class and I liked my general business class. That was pretty much it. So after my first semester at West Lib, I decided I was going to come home because they wanted another $4,000 out of pocket. I was not going to pay $4,000 out of pocket to go back. Coming home from college, I got a full-time job at Walmart, aside from detailing, and I probably worked at Walmart from around December through around August-ish. And I'm glad I did that because I got to learn and experience firsthand that detailing in the winter sucks. It's cold, it's miserable, business starts to slow down, it sucks. And whenever springtime came around, business started booming. Business started coming back again, and leading into the summer and the fall, we had a very successful year. We made a lot of money this year. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. For being 19 years old, I made a lot of money this year, and I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed to be able to have this opportunity and be able to live the life that I live. And I have people coming up to me and they say, Mickey, I bet it feels good. I bet it feels good to be able to be legal, be able to be a small business owner, to see what all you've accomplished. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't feel it. I don't feel accomplished. I feel like there's so much more that I could achieve. I feel like I haven't achieved anything, honestly. You know, I feel so far away. I feel like there's more services I can add. We can, add other cities, other communities, go to detail, and we can go further down the river, further up the river, out west. I don't know, but I mean, I'm grateful for all that I have. I'm grateful for the support I get. I'm grateful for everybody that gets details. I'm grateful for everything. Believe me, I am. But there's so much more I feel like we can accomplish together as a team. And a big reason why I'm doing this series of interviews, is to almost help people that are kind of in the position I am even today. There's still a part of me that still feels lost. And, looking back, I wish I had something like this to kind of watch and kind of follow back in high school. And so that's literally why I'm doing this, to help other people, help the youth find their purpose, find their future careers, and find their faith in God. I feel like that's very important. Faith is very big in my life. I wouldn't be anywhere I am. I've been at the bottom. I've questioned my worth. I've been doubted, counted out, you name it, right? But every step of the way, I believe that tomorrow is going to be better. I've had faith in God, and I believe that the grass is greener on the other side, and it's kind of what's kept me going. And so I feel like that's a very big and important piece in everybody's life, really. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that our own strength does not come from us. It comes from the guidance and the lessons that Christ teaches us. And, there's been plenty of times throughout my young career where I've wanted to give up, where I've wanted to throw in the towel and just quit detailing entirely. And in fact, I remember one of the first details I did, it was a black F-150. And you can only imagine, it wasn't very good. It wasn't up to, the typical mixed auto detail standard. And the guy had no problem letting me know, which, rightfully so. It's his hard-earned money. I wish I could have given him a better detail at the time. But just kind of capping on, I remember being, pretty upset, that he didn't like it. And that, I was just going to embarrass myself and give someone else a scrappy quality. But instead, I listened to him. And he said, I missed a little bit of the plastics by the rear door. I missed that. And, I left a few streaks on the windows. And so, I was probably upset for about 20 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? Instead of, just moping around, throwing in the towel, I'm going to make sure that every single part of the car is clean before I turn it back over. And so, just get better. Just get better. That's all I have to say. And so my closing statement is this: stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for everything to make sense. Stop waiting for someone to save you, because nobody is. Start now. Start messy. Start unsure, but just start. Your past didn't disqualify you. It prepared you. This is the beginning of a new chapter, and here's your reminder. You are capable, you are called, and you are not done yet. I'm Mickey Guerra, and I'm chasing purpose. And if you're ready to do the same, let's go.